Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Waking up with Phil and Ryan on Listen Up Sunday, September 22nd. Ryan, I appreciate you joining me as we continue the player breakdown on Listen Up, the roster breakdown, that is. And next up on the list today, the spotlight goes on Allie Zabel. Ryan, you told me there's a lot of rumors surrounding this young lady as far as I had to go back and revisit. I still want to bring him on the show if he's interested with us. We want to speak to him. It was Back to Sports is the channel. Go check it out if y'all have not heard of it yet. A lot of great UConn content on that channel, Ryan. But this was from 8 months ago, so I'm going way back. He says UConn's 24-25. Allie Zabel is a sharp shooter, but will she be able to beat out Ashlyn Shade? So, Ryan, I can't wait to hear what you have for me today about Allie Zabel. She has the accomplishments of what any UConn player is expected to have beside their name, or future UConn player, that is. She was Wisconsin back in April 24. Wisconsin AP names Zabel Girls High School Basketball Player of the Year, Ryan. And then you scroll down, UConn women's basketball commits Morgan Shelley, Allie Zabel, named Naismith All-American. So, again, the you got to give her credit for what she's done in high school. To me, she will make the roster. I think she will. But again, I think Back to Sports, our good friend Back to Sports, brought up a good point. Will she be able to beat out Ashlyn Shade?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact that she has. But of course, 5'10" guard from Wisconsin, she always knew where she wanted to play basketball, and I feel like we always say that about a lot of these recruits and commitments that we have. All of these girls seem like their dream is to play for the UConn Huskies, and rightfully so. They grow up seeing them win all of these championships and watch some of the greatest women's basketball players ever play at UConn. So, of course, Allie always knew she wanted to become a UConn Husky. And it's been about a year and a half ago now that I believe that Allie announced her verbal commitment to play for the Huskies. And now, of course, the time has come for her to arrive on campus and show off her skills. And like you said and mentioned that Back to Sports said, it's obvious that Zabel is a scorer. Every time she gets the ball, she wants to score. And every time she shoots, she's pretty confident that it's going to go through the basket. She played for the McDonald's All-American team, competed in the three-point contest, and she made 21 out of the 25 three-pointers. Absolutely lights out from three-point range. So it's one of her many skill sets in terms of the offensive side of things. Absolutely lights out score. Gino stated that Zabel has a little bit of Azzi and Page in her, and that he hasn't seen a lot of other players take over a game like Zabel can. And we talk about players fitted into the UConn system. Gino thinks that Zabel will fit right in and has the perfect mindset to become or to be a UConn Husky. And like I said, it's really hard to tell how much impact she's going to have or that she can make this year. But I think Allie can be that perfect spark kind of off the bench and bring the energy, definitely, hopefully bring the scoring off the bench, that immediate scoring threat. The opponents can't really take a back seat to really any of these bench players that UConn has. So I'm very excited to see what Zabel can provide for us this season, and hopefully Gino gives her enough opportunities and enough minutes off of the bench. Assuming that she won't be a starter, of course, but hopefully she'll get enough minutes to prove to us that she does deserve those minutes this season for UConn in her freshman year.
Really makes you smile, doesn't it? Because I scroll down these videos, a list of videos, and I see one title, Ryan, Phenomenal Zabel scores 40 as Nina advances the state championship. Man, I mean, she has the ability to get separated from behind the arc, right? And I'm looking at the highlights now. Sharp a three-point shooter. They had that right. And according to this, I'm looking at Sports Kita. It says while Zabel will probably be on the bench for Ariema, she joins a roster packed with talent, including Griffin, Ducharme, and Patterson. But Ryan, Ariema also signed the #1 recruit. We just went over her in the last episode, Sarah Strong. And it's got to make Ryan smile, and everybody watching this. His squad is shaping up to be a powerhouse, this article says, ready to compete for the national championship. So again, we would like to see none other than Zabel just come straight out of the gate, just like Ashlyn Shea did, just like KK Arnold. I don't know if everybody, I mean, I kind of did, especially KK Arnold, huh? But I don't know if everybody expected the freshman to come in like they did this past season. So again, we can only hope that happens again and bring it all, right? Bring the fire, Ryan. How about some comments from the last video? UConn Huskies roster breakdown, Sarah Strong. Mark Hathaway, when the players are together and playing some pickup games among themselves, everyone will see which players are superior and the lineups will become apparent. The players, coaches, and anyone watching will see it clearly. Which players are individually strong, shoot well, pass well, move with or without the ball, and connect with other players on offense and defense. If we have a team without a lot of injuries, it will be a lot more fun for everyone. Man, we could say that again.
Yeah, I think everybody hopefully, wants to believe that, and hopefully that does come true this season. And I think that, obviously that was a lot of the reason why Ashlyn and KK really got a chance to shine last year because of all those injuries, and they really got to start all those games and show off their skill set. But yeah, I think, maybe at this point, maybe the starting lineup is kind of set. It's really hard to tell, though. I guess in about a month we'll do our annual starting breakdown, starting five, if you will, in about a month. So that's always a special video to look forward to. See if we can predict the starting five. Obviously, I think a couple of players are obviously put into the starting five, like Paige, and possibly Ice Brady, maybe Sarah Strong. Maybe AZ if she's ready to come back, but it should definitely be interesting. But like I said, hopefully a lot of these players get an equal opportunity off the bench. Obviously, not everybody can get the same exact minutes, unfortunately, but I think we have a pretty loaded roster, like they just said. So I think it should be interesting to see all of these players, how Gino kind of moves them around in the season, in the starting lineup and off the bench.
Daryl Anderson, I have to shout out to you. Thank you for coming through, and thank you for that. You know what I mean. Daryl Anderson, Ryan, also, he said, well, actually, let's go over to very quickly. U.S. veteran said, the player I am most wanting to see play, even though the spotlight, these are my words, Ryan, even though the spotlight is on Allie Zabel today, he said, the player I am most wanting to see play is Jana Al-Alfi. Well, I guess he cannot wait then, huh? To get down that list and get that video out.
Yeah, I think Jana is an interesting player. We talked about how we really thought that she'd have a really strong impact last season, and then unfortunately suffered the season-ending injury before the season started. So that was really disappointing for El Alfie last season. Really thought she could have had a pretty big year for us last year. So I believe now she's still a redshirt freshman. I'll have to look at the list again to confirm that. But yeah, I think, hopefully, if like we always say, if she can stay healthy this season, I think she really does have the opportunity to really shine in the UConn Huskies offense this season, and really think that she can provide a lot of good things for us.
All right, so Adam Edmonds brings two great points to the table, and I'm going to leave it up to Ryan. No, I'm just kidding. It seems like I leave everything up to Ryan nowadays. Ryan, he's had another great episode, fellas. You keep teasing us with these interviews, starting to wonder if I'll be old and gray by the time you post them. Ryan, he's referring to KK Arnold and help me out here.
Morgan
KK
Valley.
Arnold, Morgan Valley. And then he said, final comment, I promise, I hate blowing up the chat like this, but I keep reading more good comments or remembering something new. When can we buy these shirts? I view it kind of like NIL. If I'm going to be buying UConn clothes, I want it to benefit the players I love. If I'm going to buy clothes, it might as well benefit people I enjoy. Give us a merch store.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about setting up the shop for our shirts. Of course, want to maybe give a couple away at some point during the
Can we have
season.
any kind of deadline at all that you can go ahead and tell us? I'll go ahead and say right now, Ryan, my deadline for these interviews, I'll make it by Halloween. I know that's extending it, but just in case something goes south again, by Halloween they're going to get edited and out before the season. Any update at all that you can provide on deadlines?
We'll see. I don't really, I don't really want to give a deadline because I feel like that's what happened with the interviews. So I don't want to give a deadline then disappoint everybody if we don't end up giving bringing out the shop for our shirts. But hopefully we can also get that out before the season starts. Hopefully sometime before November if we get started on the shop. So hopefully we can make that happen as well.
All right, where's Austin when you need him? Jason D'Amico said, I have no doubt that Sarah Strong is a good player, but we need to be realistic as she is only a freshman. This is interesting, Ryan. The game is going to be fast for her, at least in the beginning. It took Ice Brady a full year for the game to slow down enough to where she could contribute anything meaningful. Gino and company have their work cut out for them this year, and let's hope our sophomores do not endure that dreaded sophomore slump. We need them desperately. Good episode, boys. Peace.
Yeah, we've seen with some players that obviously they can't quite make the adjustment from high school to college basketball. So obviously we hope that doesn't happen with the three freshmen that we have on the team right now. But I think I did see something where Allie was a little surprised at first by the pace, the upstring and pace that the Huskies play with and at the college level, of course. But still has time during the off season to get adjusted to that. And I think it's always an adjustment for all the freshmen that come in to get adjusted at first. But I'm pretty confident they have enough time during the off season and Gino and the coaching staff to get everybody ready. So personally, I'm not worried about that for these freshmen. Think they're going to be prepared and if they are in the starting lineup, I expect them to be ready for game one for us.
Our guy Daryl Anderson says, thank you guys for doing the extra mile and doing the work to keep fans updated. Well, thank each and every one of you for coming through. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ryan, it's 2.33. It's still stuck there. Do you have anything for him?
Yeah, well, of course, like we always say, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Trying to push for maybe 2.5 maybe before the year ends. So yeah, keep pushing towards that number and thanks for the support as always.
All right, Phil and Ryan on Listen Up.